Good afternoon, 49er faithful, and welcome to a Saturday edition of the Odell Beckham Jr. special. Just enough time today to provide some updated information on Odell Beckham Jr. with complete contractual details and waiver claim explanation. These are the facts as we know them as of Saturday, November 6th, 49er faithful. Updated information has come out with regard to the renegotiation that took place yesterday, Friday, November 5th, between OBJ and the Browns organization prior to his official release. Odell Beckham Jr. will officially hit waivers on Monday. The public will know Tuesday if he's been claimed by any NFL team. Any of the other 31 NFL teams may submit a waiver claim, including your San Francisco 49ers. Claims are granted in reverse order of NFL standings, meaning that the worst teams actually have the highest claim on waiver priority. Getting a little tongue-tied here. If he goes unclaimed, if Odell Beckham Jr. goes unclaimed, he becomes a free agent for the first time in his career and would be free to choose his next team and negotiate a new deal at that time. The updated contract information, as it's been released to this point, Cleveland eliminated the final 2 years of OBJ's contract completely. Only this season's contract remains. He's set to earn $7.25 million the remainder of the season if he is claimed by another team. That $7.25 million would be paid by the new team in its entirety if they claimed him. If Odell Beckham Jr. goes unclaimed and arrives at free agency on Tuesday, which I believe to be an unlikely scenario, the Browns would benefit from the renegotiation that took place. The renegotiation of the contract really benefits the Browns in this scenario with both cash and salary cap savings. They reached a settlement for this scenario where the Browns saved $3 million by converting that to a roster bonus. In exchange, OBJ agreed not to seek termination pay. So what exactly is termination pay? Termination pay is an in-season salary guarantee that's automatically given to veteran players as a provision of the CBA, the collective bargaining agreement. There are actually two types of termination pay. The primary one that we're concerned with here guarantees a player's entire paragraph 5 salary for the season. To be eligible, you have to make the roster for the first game. You have to be on the 53-man roster for that first game. And you have to make it through the season, not have collected termination pay in the past. Sorry, you just have to be on the roster for the first game and not have collected termination pay in the past. If you're released, the team owes you the remainder of your salary for the year if the player puts in a claim for that amount. So OBJ set to earn $7.25 million in P5 salary post renegotiation. He made the initial 53-man roster and is being cut after the first week. So the team would still have to pay him the $7.25 million in full under these terms. This termination pay does count in full towards the salary cap, but OBJ agreed not to seek that. He said, nope, I will not seek that type of termination pay, and that saved the Browns the complete $3 million in both cash and cap savings if he goes unclaimed. They kept Odell Beckham Jr.'s salary high for the remainder of the year. A little unintentional Freudian slip there. They kept OBJ's salary high for the remainder of the year as part of the negotiation with Odell's agent. This was his choice. He wanted his salary to remain high because it makes it less likely that a bad team is going to claim Odell Beckham Jr. He doesn't want to end up on the Detroit Lions. Therefore, he kept that salary high. He's essentially a $7.25 million rental for the remainder of the season because they've wiped out the final 2 years of the deal. If your franchise doesn't believe he's going to sign long-term, are you really going to spend that much money for a temperamental wide receiver that might not play real hard if taken by a non-contender? If he's taken by the Lions, you could imagine him not really studying that playbook, not really getting involved with the team, and then he's a free agent at the end of the year anyway. On the other hand, you could argue, can OBJ afford to throw any more tantrums? Can he go to a team, even if they're renting his services, and be disgruntled? At a bare minimum, he's about to be a free agent in the offseason. If Tuesday he's unclaimed. So you would think in an attempt to maximize that next contract, he would be on his best behavior. He would be set to earn $4.25 million from the Browns, even if cut, but he does forfeit the $3 million bonus. If unclaimed, he does forfeit that $3 million bonus. If he signed after going unclaimed, any salary paid to him by his new team up to the $4.25 million would be additional savings for the Browns, as the contracts would offset at that point. There's no double dipping. So any team that pays him a negotiated salary, if he goes unclaimed, would count against what the Browns were going to pay him. So those are the contractual details as we know them right now. What has our general manager for the San Francisco 49ers said about bringing in Odell Beckham Jr.? Well, he had this to say on KNBR. What I can assure you is we're always trying to make ourselves better. And if we have an opportunity to do so, we will. I'll leave it at that for strategic reasons. So your guess is as good as mine as to the interest level that John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan have, but they have previously expressed an interest in bringing in Odell Beckham Jr. How did we get here? How did we get to this point? Well, earlier in the week, Odell Beckham Jr.'s dad posted an 11-minute video complete with comments about how Baker Mayfield wasn't throwing him the damn ball. LeBron James, a Cleveland native, comes out, starts a trending topic of free OBJ. Odell was then excused from practice Wednesday and Thursday, and a statement about his release came out Friday on OBJ's birthday, no less. And Odell Beckham Jr. was granted his release from the Browns. Quite the gift, you might say. The statement by the Browns organization: after careful consideration, internal discussions, and considerations with Odell and his representation, we've determined that it is in the best interest of all parties involved that Odell no longer play for the Cleveland Browns. We appreciate all his efforts and contributions while in Cleveland, but we've just reached a point where it is best that we move forward as a team without Odell. We are finalizing the process of granting Odell his release, and we wish him well as he continues his career. What's the new team getting that claims or negotiates a contract with Odell Beckham Jr.? Are they getting in an often injured diva? Someone who hasn't been content anywhere he's been long term? Beckham has posted just 17 receptions for 232 yards and no touchdowns on the season. Is that the player this new team will inherit? Or is it one of the most talented receivers in the league who just needs another fresh start in a new system? It's tough to say, but on Tuesday, we'll find out what NFL teams think. We'll find out how many teams have placed that waiver claim. The teams with enough cap space at this moment to sign Odell Beckham Jr. to take on that contract, to place a waiver claim without needing to clear additional cap space, would be the Jaguars, the Eagles, the Broncos, the Seahawks, the Panthers, the Washington football team, Steelers, Chargers, and Bengals. How could the 49ers afford him? They are not on that list of teams that have enough cap space at this particular point in time. The 49ers would have to clear cap space in order to bring in Odell Beckham Jr.'s existing contract, in order to place a waiver claim for OBJ. The 49ers only have reportedly $3.5 million under the cap at this moment in time, would need to clear approximately an additional $4 million. You'd need to convert some existing salary to signing bonus. The possible player contracts: Jimmy Garoppolo, hard pass. Eric Armstead, I wouldn't think so, because that contract is extremely backloaded as it sits, but there are very few contracts on the books that have enough room in them to create this space, and this is one of them. The other that I see, Laken Tomlinson. And of the three, this would be my preference. Personally, I'd add a phantom year to his contract and convert the remainder of this year's salary to bonus. It would still be a few dollars short, but you could find that money elsewhere on the roster with smaller contracts. The question is, Would Lakin himself give up the leverage to try and earn another multi-year deal simply to get some cash up front? Cash he's got coming to him anyway. It would be a team-friendly move on his part. The current waiver order of the NFL has the 49ers sitting at 12th. If any of the teams in front of the San Francisco 49ers make a claim, the 49ers would automatically lose out. Current NFL waiver order for Week 9 has the Detroit Lions sitting at the top, followed by Miami, Houston, Jacksonville, New York, the Jets, and then the Giants, Washington Football Team, Philadelphia Eagles, Seattle Seahawks, Chicago Bears, Atlanta Falcons, and then the San Francisco 49ers. It would essentially be a 9-game rental for the 49ers, and it would be expensive. But you would have the first crack at convincing OBJ that this was the right place for him. You could build a relationship. If it doesn't work, you don't re-sign him. If it's a natural fit, he's right there in the building. He's comfortable with the season, and he comes into the 2022 season already with the playbook underneath his belt. There are a lot of factors that go into this decision, 49er faithful. It'll be tough to make this work for the 49ers. But the bottom line is that it's absolutely possible, just depending on how bad the 49ers want to make it happen. Let's get into a few comments before we wrap it up. Want to say hello to those that have been able to join in on the live stream. Let's see. CG Ruthless, we would take $7.2 million, which is a bargain. Yes, it is. Nick pointing out correctly, 49ers only have $3.5 million in cap space, so still can't see it via the waivers route. Nope, would have to clear additional cap space. Swift Dog coming in, sending positive vibes and congratulations on moving forward. Let's go, 49ers. Alonzo Harris, no word on Hurd at this point. It doesn't look good. D Ford was placed on IR today. Probably looking at putting out another short video to cover that, just to do the comments on the D Ford situation. Really just had enough time to come in here and give all the details on the OBJ situation. Wanted everything all in one place, completely updated with all the relevant information that came out today that we didn't have during the live yesterday. Greg Thames asks the most relevant question here. Would I do it? Yes. Yes, I would. I would bring OBJ in. I feel like the 49ers need a spark at this point in the season, and he just might be the man to do it. Will the 49ers place that claim? Will the Seattle Seahawks place a claim above them? I think both are likely outcomes. Thank you for joining me. Appreciate everyone coming in here, and we will see you tomorrow. Don't forget, 1 p.m. Sunday, we are doing a pregame pump-up show here on the channel. Hope to see you all there. Until then, enjoy your weekend, 49er faithful.